Hello, my name is Harri Saarnisaari. I'm adjunct professor here in GWC, and in 6G flagship I'm working in remote and rural access. The talk topic is about connecting the un and underconnected, and that is important topic if we want to reduce the digital divide and also achieve other UN Sustainable Development Goals. Because in many of them this connectivity is important factor. At the moment in the world about 3 billion people are still unconnected from the internet, and many more suffer from insufficient connectivity, which means that the data rate is not good enough for their purposes, or you have to go outside to have connectivity, so you don't have indoor connectivity and so on. And many of these persons live in rural and remote areas that have many different kind of challenges that I will discuss later. But in addition to these technical challenges, there are also cultural, societal and language-related challenges, and also literacy issues in general, and also digital literacy issues. So why we need 6G here, not the previous generations? So it's obvious that these early generations can provide these solutions, not directly but tailoring these, but they are then maybe not so efficient or cost-effective way to do it. And if we assume that 6G will be very flexible system containing solutions for different solutions like this remote and rural areas and satellite communications and so on, we can see that this 6G can solve this problem we are discussing right now. This remote and rural area problem has been discussed from the beginning of 6G in 2019 conference in Levi. But we have observed that even though these items are mentioned in talks, in general talks, they are not really addressed anywhere. So if you look at the projects and technical papers, you can see that they might mention these sustainable development goals and remote and rural areas, but the real target is in very high data rate systems. So this means that in this sector, in rural and remote area access sector, we must work harder and push this problem visible to other persons so that we can better understand the research problems and then solve these and then propose them to the 6G standardization. So our goal is to provide connectivity solutions that allow affordable solutions and also sufficient services. This means that usage price has to be low, and maybe also device price has to be low. And this sufficiency means that data rate must be enough for services they are needing, and also that availability is 24/7, not 2 hours per day. Because in these locations you need both access and then backhaul to this access point, we have to solve both the access and backhaul problems. And of course we must provide connectivity to people and also devices, because the modern smart farming and environmental sensors need these devices. Then to the challenges, there is the nice figure where we have listed a lot of different things that highlight the problems. There are too many to be discussed all in this talk. You can check the relevant papers about them, but maybe I will talk some of them more detailed. So in the right hand corner there is the services, literacy issues and usability issues, which is obvious but not included in these technical solutions. Then there are environmental things, these These include, especially in north, it is icy condition, dark winters, so non-solar power period of the years, maybe very huge distances between the villages and so on. Then in governance we have problems in long-lasting regulations or not regulation at all. Financing might be a problem because these are not profitable areas what we are talking right now. In several countries we want to use the same system also for authorities connectivity or public safety services, so we should include also these into the full picture. Then from the operational perspective there are a few points which has made these areas very uninterest for mobile network operators, like low population density, missing infrastructure, no roads in the area, no power grid, or that power grid is not working 24/7. It might be operational only 6 hours per day and so on. Then what we have also discovered recently is that maybe these traditional key performance indicators are not well suited for our system, like maximum total throughput in an area or maximum range in an area, maybe they are not good. And especially these operators propagation model based coverage prediction maps are not enough because they are not very accurate, especially in the cell edge where many of these rural and remote areas are. Okay, what solutions we can have here? Of course we can use everything what has been discussed so far for the 6G, like satellites, either for direct user and IoT access or supporting as a backhaul solution. Then we can use terrestrial solutions like microwave links for backhaul and cellular access for the end user access. Then of course optical communication is one of 6G frameworks. What we need is that we have to have some kind of lightweight solution. It has to be quite small size, easy to assembly, maybe even by local people, easy to maintain, and so on. Because of the power grid problems, it has to have low power consumption, so it's essential requirement, and we should use renewable energy sources whenever possible, maybe in north areas where the winter is so dark, we need to use renewable diesel fuel or something else. Then even if we succeed to provide this system, this backhaul may still be limited, so the maximum throughput is not as much as end user need, and in that case we should develop something special. We think that the special is that we educate the end users, so we should educate them how to smartly use this system, who should use it at a certain time and so on. Maybe we should use also edge solutions like caching and broadcasting solutions, so that, for example, if there is football game ongoing, then all are not downloading it separately, but there is smart broadcasting solution at the edge. Then there could be user service prioritization, so this village or end user community decides which services are most important. Maybe it depends on the time of the day or the day of the week, but still there could be more priority to put to school works during the school hours, e-governance services, and so on, than to video browsing or regular network browsing. how to do this, how we recognize what service is used, and how to set these priorities. I think that is still a problem. Okay, what should we do next? So, in our opinion, we should collect globally the use cases in remote and rural places and also related user requirements, what they want to do and what for they need these connectivities. Because there might be some very special requirements what we don't have in urban areas. Then we should analyze these use cases and requirements and extract common features. Almost certainly we have very many common features, but then there are also some specialities in various places that we also should solve. Then we have to develop architectures and solutions to these problems, and also we have to develop the relevant KPIs for these problems. And then check that these KPIs are met with the proposed solutions. And after that we have to strongly propose these solutions and KPIs to 6G communication and standardization. Okay, that ends my presentation. Thank you. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me.